Sometimes I get this overwhelming heaviness inside, like life's too much to bear, but there's no one I feel comfortable opening up to about it. I mean, how do you even bring that up with your friends without feeling awkward? So here I am, sharing it with you anonymously. I'm not looking for pity or anything, just need to get this off my chest. Anyway, I got married right after college to a girl who lived just a few doors down from me growing up. Funny thing is, being 7 years older, I'd never even thought of her as a potential partner. Back then, I was studying in another city, and we hadn't crossed paths in years. Then one day I log into my social media, and there it is. Hi, remember me? It's Sophia. At first, I had to rack my brain to place her. She'd grown up so much. Honestly, she had blossomed into such a stunning woman that it took me by surprise. We started chatting, and before I knew it, our conversations became a regular thing. Eventually, Sophia asked for my help to move to the capital, where I'd been living and had managed to set up a small business. Now at that time I was dating someone, and she wasn't too thrilled about Sophia's sudden reappearance. Her instincts kicked in right away. Keep an eye on her, she warned. She seems bold enough to slide right into your life and steal you away. Fast forward, Sophia and I ended up tying the knot and starting a family. We had a son, and when he was old enough, we enrolled him in kindergarten. That's around when Sophia began asking to find work. Even though her qualifications were, let's say, less than ideal, she managed to land a spot in an office without much hassle. Once she got there, she carried herself with such confidence that people bent over backward to stay on her good side. Sweet smiles, extra favors, you name it. But honestly, she wasn't exactly nailing it at work. A lot of the time, I had to step in to clean up her mistakes and smooth things over. And then it happened. One evening, I logged onto her computer, and what I found completely floored me. She'd been chatting with my secretary, someone who, let's just say, loves a bit of drama. Sophia had spilled the beans, detailing her fling with our new programmer. The guy she was seeing, well, he was younger than me, no doubt about it. Good-looking too, in that annoyingly obvious way. But still, that didn't give her the right to cheat. I was absolutely gutted by the sheer audacity of her betrayal. I loved my wife, no question about it, and I went out of my way to be there for her, indulging her every whim. My family had always been my safe haven, my foundation, and now it felt like everything was crumbling beneath me. The worst part, the whole sordid affair became the talk of the office. Furious, I dragged the guy into my office, hoping for some kind of explanation. But what I learned only made things worse. Turns out, my wife wasn't just involved with him. She'd also been with 2 other colleagues from the department. She didn't even try to be discreet. It was all so blatant, like she didn't care about the rumors or how the team mocked her behind her back. Getting through that mess was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I didn't hold back. I fired her lovers on the spot. After work, I locked myself in my office, reeling from it all. I couldn't even face going home, so I stayed there overnight with nothing but a bottle of cognac for company. By morning, I had made up my mind. I instructed the guards not to let her into the building. She called, over and over, desperate to talk, but the mere thought of seeing her made my stomach turn. Eventually, when I'd calmed down enough, I agreed to sit down and hash things out. "So what?" she said defensively. "You have to understand, we just have different temperaments. I don't think this is worth throwing our marriage away over." Her words hit me like a slap in the face. Different temperaments. I snapped. "How about our son? Don't you think he's a good enough reason to end this farce? Her excuses only got more absurd, and her pleas for forgiveness fell on deaf ears. I couldn't stomach the idea of staying with someone who had humiliated me so publicly. Every time I walked into the office, I'd see the smirks, hear the whispers behind my back. Enough was enough. We finalized the divorce quickly, and thanks to a great lawyer, I won custody of my son. Now it's just the two of us. After what happened, I can't bring myself to trust anyone enough to start a new relationship. As for my ex, well, thanks to some candid recommendations on my part, she couldn't land a job anywhere. Left with no options, she ended up moving back in with her parents. Her former lovers? They didn't want her anymore. And those so-called friends of hers? They vanished too. Last I heard, she was working at some roadside cafe, but honestly, I don't care. That chapter of my life is closed, and I'm finally at peace with it.